This episode of the Young Turks brought to you by GoToMeeting. Online meetings made easy.
So Michelle Obama invites rapper Common to the White House Poetry Night. Common is a very well-known rapper. I love his music, and he's also very poetic, okay? So it makes sense to invite him. Now, of course, Republicans and right-wingers had to criticize Michelle Obama for it because they say that Common is a violent figure. There was one specific person, Neil Monroe, who says that Common's poetry, for instance, A Letter to the Law, is very violent. So I looked up that poem. He actually performed it during another poetry night, and we have video of it. In it, he specifically says something about George Bush. That's what Neil Monroe has an issue with. Let's watch, and you tell me if you think it's violent.
Stay true to what I do so the youth dream come. From project building, seen a fiend being hung. With that happening, why they messing with Saddam? Burn a bush, cause for peace he no push no button. Killing over oil and grease, no weapons of destruction. How can we follow leader when it's a corrupt one? The government's a G unit and they might buck young. Black people in the urban area one. I hold up a peace sign, but I carry a gun.
Okay, so, you know, in his poetry, obviously you can tell that he's talking about police brutality toward the African-American community. He uses very strong language. Toward the end of the poem, if you listen carefully, he says, he calls for the burning of President George Bush, but he's not being literal. I think anyone who listens to that poetry can figure that out. But Neil Monroe says, no, this is violent. You know, he's calling for a burning of George W. Bush. This is outrageous. How dare Michelle Obama invite him to go do poetry at the White House? Then he says, I ask everyone to please compare this rapper's poetry to Emily Dickinson's poetry. Emily Dickinson, her poem was recited during a White House poetry night that Laura Bush threw.
Okay, yeah. All right, listen, I have no tolerance for these guys, okay? So first of all, rappers are entertainers. What they create is a reality that exists in a song, in a piece of entertainment, or in this case, a poem, okay? It's not in the real world. They didn't actually shoot cops. Eminem, or as Alan Simpson would call him, Enema Man, didn't actually chop up his wife and put her in the trunk. Okay, and neither did Robert De Niro in the movies he's in, or Al Pacino. Al Pacino actually didn't bury his face in a table full of coke, as far as I know. He didn't actually tell people to meet his little friend and shoot all those people. It's a movie. It's entertainment. I'm sorry that you didn't get past Emily frickin' Dickinson and, whatever century she was in, and then that's the farthest we can go, and if everybody's not playing patty cakes, well, then they got to be banned from the White House. But they don't even believe that. Because the reality is they love stuff like 24, where people get killed and tortured all the time. But they're like, hey, that's torturing Arabs or whoever the bad guys are. That's awesome. And by the way, they also believe in torture in the real world. But no, Common is a rapper who's once said something bad about Bush in a poem, etc., and he can't be there. You know what the real problem with him is? He's a rapper. That's what the real problem is. Now, it's not just purely racial. If you're Stevie Wonder and you sing pleasant songs, or you're Lionel Richie, they're perfectly happy to have you there. But if you're a dangerous black man, well, they don't want you in the White House. Or if they do, they want to blame the Obamas for it. Oh, yeah, they're with those guys.
Yeah, and he's not even close to a dangerous black man. He's just someone who's willing to share, his controversial beliefs. Not even controversial. He's willing to spread the truth about what really goes on. Police brutality, that's what his poem was about. And, the Republicans aren't happy with that. By the way, I looked up the Emily Dickinson poem that was recited during Laura Bush's poetry night at the White House. And I want to read it to you. This is the poem that Neil Monroe thinks is perfectly fine, and it is perfectly fine, but he thinks it's definitely better than any type of poetry that Common can possibly do at the White House. So her poem is 2 short paragraphs. I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? Then there's a pair of us. Don't tell. they'd banish us, you know. And I mean, it's a good poem. It has a meaning, but it's simple, and it's something that's so standard for a White House poetry night. Michelle Obama wants to do something different, and the Republicans have an issue with it.
Roses are red, violets are blue. I mean, come on, man. All right, look, by the way, having to explain that Common is not a dangerous black man is like having to explain Robert De Niro is not actually the Godfather. He's not, you know, and neither was Al Pacino. They're not dangerous Italians, okay? They're just actors. GoToMeeting.com makes online meetings easy and fast. You can join in by phone or use your computer mic. You can also do presentations online and share your computer so people can see your presentations as you're doing the meeting. And one flat rate gets you as many meetings as you want.
Get a free trial at GoToMeeting.com, click on the Try It Free button, and enter the promo code Turks.